What's up, guys? It's Oleh here, and today I'm gonna be profiling my hero hand deck profile because heroes. I've always liked heroes, and you guys have seen that on my channel that I've always liked heroes. And after Stratos died, I still tried to make them work, and I kind of did for a little bit, but it's still like just really hard because they kind of like the consistency, and if you didn't draw into the monsters, you had a really big problem because then you just sit on back row, and sometimes you draw like Dead Miracle Fusion and Gemini Spark, so it wasn't the best of times. So, but then when the hands came out, they kind of gave heroes an anti-meta sort of spin. Like, you could have run anti-meta heroes before, but this really gave it purpose and really made it consistent because the hands fueled the graveyard for the Miracle Fusions. They wipe fields. Your heroes can just beat down. Like, it's kind of like a bad, not a bad version, but like a little version of Hero B because the hands just get rid of everything, so then you just poke with Alias or like a Shining. So anyways, I just picked this deck. It's really good, and I've been testing with it a lot against friends and online and everything, and it's just been working out really well. So let's start off with the deck profile. So obviously I run 3 Alias. He's the Beat Stick 1900. He's really good against the trap negating. The effect negating traps because they just can't do anything and they just sit dead on your opponent's field. So they're really good. Not much needs to be said. He's the staple one that you have to run. Then I run 2 Bubblemen because the special summoning and making rank 4 XZs is still really good. Like you special summon him, you make a rank 4 right away. You don't have to waste your normal summon, or you can, normal summon Alias, then special summon, XZ. It's very relevant right now. XZs are, like the most powerful monsters in the game. They just do everything, so. And also, he's amazing because he gets out, 2200 Abyss Dwellers, or he, what you can do, what sometimes happens is if you have nothing left, you wasted all your resources and the game is still going on and you have not much to go by. If you top deck this, or like a Rota or E-Call, you can search this, special draw 2 cards, and next thing you know, you're back in the game. That does happen a handful of times. So this card's just really good. I run it at 2. I wouldn't run 3 because 3 is too cloggy and sometimes it just gets to be real bad. So 2 is great. And then we go with kind of the cards that made, heroes at least semi-good again. And that's the hands. They're amazing because they just fuel the graveyard. You can use them as Miracle Fusion targets. They just do everything. They clear boards. They, simplify the game state. They're just really good cards, and they just work really well in this deck. You can rank 4 XZ with them, or like an Alias or Bubbleman. They're just really good, and there's just not much to say about that. The only thing that sucks is opening this, because then you either sit on it, let it die, and then it doesn't do anything because usually people don't set in main phase 1, or you wait on it if you go first. But other than that, these things are amazing, and yeah, no, these really helped the deck out a lot, and they gave it kind of like an anti-meta feel and engine. So I run 6 of the all 6 hands. Then for the non-hero and hand monsters, I run 1 Photon Thrasher because he's really good with Rhoda. He is amazing with Rhoda. He gets off a couple. He's like a 6 Bubble Man. And sometimes you think that this would collide with the hands because the fans always have field presence, but if you just open with this and start with it, it's just an amazing card because it's a 21 beat stick that's hard to get over first turn with a couple back rows. So this card is just amazing. It's won me a handful of games just with this card. It's just really good. Or if you open this in Alias, you can XZ into some really good monsters. So it's a great card. It's like a 6 Bubble Man. I'd never take it out because it just has such a great utility. And it has great synergy with Miracle Fusion and, Excalibur and all that stuff. So this card's just amazing, and I'd never take it out. So 1 Thrasher. To continue with the anti-meta part of the deck, we go with Thunder King Ryo. You always run Thunder King Ryo in heroes, but here it's just, even though you run a lot of searching cards, it's still really good because it locks down your opponent. It still has that Black Horn of Heaven effect where it negates inherent special summons. So, no matter what, this card is amazing, and, I'd never take it out. And then finally, for the monsters, I run 1 Honest because, you only have 5 targets, but if you open, Thunder King and Honest in the same turn with, 2 back row, usually that game is yours because you just sit on it and your opponent struggles to get over it. Or Alias or Thrasher, it's just such a good card because, and also, even though you only run 5 targets, Alias is really recurable in this deck. So it feels like you have way more targets than you really do. So this thing is always live. I can barely think of times where it's dead, and sometimes even if you're in a dire situation, you can normal summon this special Bubble Man, or like if you have a hand on the field, you normal summon this and XZ. So no matter what, this thing always has its uses. It's such an amazing card, and it just gets you out of those big problem boards. Like even those game states where your opponent has a huge board. You just drop this and you get over stuff that you shouldn't have. Like my friend who's playing Mermails, he summoned Leo in a Blitz lead. He had attack with Leo. I just dropped this on an Alias, and then next turn I tapped like Miracle Fusion, and he just scooped because he couldn't do anything. So it's just an amazing card. And that's pretty much it. I would always run this card no matter what. So that's the monsters. I think that's 14 monsters. Next we go for the spells. We run 3 Duality to thin your deck. There's a lot of deck thinning in this deck just to get to your monsters and to get to your power plays. So run 3 Dualities. This card is so much better than Upstart Goblin. It's just like obviously Upstart Goblins are used in decks that special summon a lot, but this card is just amazing. It gets you to your pieces. It gets you to your traps to disrupt your opponent, and it's an amazing card, and it's so good. It's so good. I can't get over how good it is. Then we have, which I like this ratio, 2 Rhoda, because Rhoda's at 2 now, and then only 2 Ecall. You only have 6 targets in this entire deck for this engine. If I could run a 3rd Ecall, but it does clog, because too many searches, and if you just draw 2 of the monsters, that's it. One of these is useless, and you can't do anything about it, unless you, I wish I had a Pot of Dichotomy, because I would have used a, one over probably a card that you're going to see later, but anyways, I just like the 2 and 2. It just works really well, and then opening this and getting a Photon Thrasher is amazing. That's why I'm using 2 Rhoda because over 3 Ecall, because this is just more versatile and it gets you the Thrasher, which is just an extra card that this card cannot get. So this ratio is amazing. It's been working out great for me. I've tried 2 and 3, and it's just it's made in many dead hands. Like sometimes even like one of these 4 is dead, but like usually that's not the case. But with 5, you're usually gonna have 1 dead card. So anyways, for the Fusion Summoners, Miracle Fusion, this is like why this deck is so amazing, because it summons just amazing monsters that have very purpose full abilities, and makes you get over a lot of stuff. There's not much to explain. It's a hero deck, you need to run Miracle Fusion, makes amazing fusions, pretty much it. Then I only run 1 Super Poly, because I really hate how much you minus from using it. You have to discard a card, and usually you don't want to discard anything in this deck. It just really sucks. So I only run 1 Super Poly and I side the other because like I said, it sucks. Drawing more than 1. Like I did used to use 2, but I cut it down to 1 just because you minus so much. I know you disrupt your opponent's field and you set them back a couple, a decent amount of card advantage, but still, it's not ideal to run 2 because you minus too much, and if you open this card and you go first, if you used it, you're down to like 3 or 2 cards, and it's just the worst feeling. So only 1. That's it. I actually draw into this a lot anyway, and it's great for those plays where your opponent totally disrupts opponents, because like my opponent was using Heretics, he summoned the Tomb, and I automatically flipped Super Poly, and that just stopped them cold. He summoned a Blaster attack, then the next turn I was able to, just to do a little more. So anyways, so that's kind of with the fusions. I only run the 3 Miracle Fusion and Super Poly, and then finally I run 2 Gem Sparks because this card is just so powerful. If you open this Alias and like 2 back row, it's just you give you a ridiculous advantage. This card is so good, and there's so much to say about it. I obviously can't run 3 because I only have 3 targets, and I know you recur the Aliases through Shining, but it won't always happen. And then the 3rd one will usually sit dead. Like sometimes one of these is dead, but usually like 2 is a great number. This card gives you advantage. It's basically like a 1-for-1. Because you destroy Alias and you draw 1, but your opponent loses probably a really good card just for this. It's just such a good card. And even if you summon Alias and they bottomless it, you change, kill something else, you draw a card. It's really good. So 2 Gemini Spark is just a really powerful card. And finally for the spells, Book of Moon and Dark Hole. This is probably the best spell in the game. Probably was for like a decent amount of time, and still is. It's the best spell in the game. This is pretty much it. This card I would probably take out for what's it called? For the Pot of Dichotomy, but I don't have one, so I just run a Dark Hole just for those explosive decks. But With the hands, this card is pretty bad. So I honestly, unless you have Ice Hands, you Dark Hole everything, and your opponent has back row. But in either case, like, this card is okay. I might take it out for something else. I just don't know what. Maybe a back row, but maybe like a Mirror Force is actually what I'm thinking of. But anyways, so that's the spells. And yeah, I actually don't know how many spells that is. I think that's 16, but I'm not sure. So then we have the traps. One Hero Blast. One's great because you know it makes some things miss timing, and also with Alias, you get your aliases back to make your Gemini Sparks live, or just a lot of your Honest live, all that stuff. So this card's really good. You sometimes do draw it dead, but usually, you know, you're fine. This card's really good. I can't really much say about it. You could take it out, definitely, but I really do like what this card does. So I run one Hero Blast. Then when you get effects, 2 Fiendish Chain. It's pretty simple. Just back row, Fiendish Chains. Wiretap, because this is kind of, like I said, more of an anti-meta deck, which is why I don't run MSTs, because MST is not that good because of the artifacts. So you do run the Wiretaps. They're really good. There's not much to say about it. Sending Sanctums back to deck is amazing. And now, since Deep Prison is at 3, I do run all 3 Deep Prisons, because, like I said, this is more of an anti-meta deck more than anything, with, like, a hero engine. So you're in the Deep Pris, and it's really good. There's just not much to say about it. You know, like, Stardust is it's not a big problem in this deck. Spark is actually a big problem in this deck, because you usually do only have 1 or 2 monsters to attack with. Spark can save himself. So what you usually do is you just Deep Pris, and that's pretty much it. It's just amazing. So, wow. Okay, so I just run the T3 Deep Pris. It's amazing. That's pretty much it. And then finally, I run Bottomless, Solemn, and Torrential. You know, just staple traps. They're great, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't run Compulse because I can't find room for it, because I just think the other stuff is better. But let me know what you guys think, and that's the main deck. So, extra deck. Obviously, you run 2 Shining. Honestly, you can probably get away with running 1, because, I mean, with the hands, you probably need the other, like, Ab-Zero or Nova Master more. But still, you gotta run 2 Shining. It's a hero deck. Sometimes you can recur the aliases. Also, since I do run the Thrashers and the Honests, you can still run, two is optimal. It's an amazing card. It's the best one. That's pretty much it. Then you run 2 Ab-Zeros because of the Ice Hands, and also you have a lot of water cards, water monsters in the extra deck. So Ab-Zero, it's amazing as Mermails because he gets huge, also blows up the field. It's like another Dark Hole, which is why I'm really thinking I'm taking out Dark Hole, because I am running 2 of these. This clears the board just like Dark Hole does, so I might run something else instead of Dark Hole. So you guys should really, tell me what card I should run instead of Dark Hole. So that's I just run the 2 Ab-Zeros, and then unfortunately, I only have 1 Nova Master. I used to have 2, but I traded it away like an idiot. I run 1 Nova Master. I definitely want to get the second. I'm going to run 2, because with the Fire Hand, this card's amazing, because you attack, you draw, attack, draw. It has 2,600 attack points. It's a huge beat stick, so 1 Nova Master. It's going to be 2 soon, but yeah. And then finally, for the other heroes, I run a Escuridao and Great Tornado. Escuridao is really irrelevant right now. Because there's just no good dark decks, so, like, I don't know why I run it, just because I run the Super Poly and decide the second one, but he's going to be relevant when the Shad Dolls come out, so that's why I'm keeping him right now, and he's amazing because it's just simple, Dracossack. Any deck that summons Dracossack, this card it's just, like, I mean, Dragon Rulers can reoccur themselves, a lot of the time, but, like, you get rid of 1 Dracossack automatically, and it's amazing. So, and then this thing is huge, it cuts all the Dragon Rulers, into half, unless they, recur Blaster from the Grave. So, it's just, there's not a lot of win decks, but there's good, good win deck Zs, so, especially Dracossack, so that's why I kind of keep him in here. He'll probably be out for the second Nova Master, and I'll still main deck him because of the Shad Dolls, but I'm still not sure. So, those are the Vision heroes. I side the Gaia, because I also, I have a kind of a side deck plan, but I don't use Gaia because he's probably the worst one. Like, it's a 2600 ass, but his effect when he summoned isn't that great. Like, you just pushed over stuff, but it's honestly just not that great. So, I just don't use this thing. And then, we have, for the XCs, we have Constellar Omega, because if you open Thrasher, Alias, and, 3 or 2 back row, your opponent has a really hard time getting over this thing. This card is really good. You can't use back row to get over it. I thought about Paladynamo, but it's not an optimal first turn play, while this is, so I just run 1 Omega. It's really good. I mean, maybe I can change it for something else. If I had an Exciton Knight, this would probably be out for the Exciton Knight, but I don't, so I just do Omega, you know, so you guys can like give me hints as to what else I could use. But yeah, it's a really good card. Then I run Excalibur because you have to run Excalibur. I don't run Blade Armor Ninja because at this point there's just so many huge monsters and powerful cards that it's just not that great anymore. So I just run Excalibur, no Blade Armor, but Excalibur still makes the OTK a lot. It's amazing. Then I run Daigusto Emerald because I don't have the dichotomy, and he's really good at putting the hands back, making the engine work again. Putting back the aliases, putting back the bubble mans, he's just amazing. So, and then you also draw a card off of it, which is really good because this deck has decent draw and deck thinning power, which is just really good. So, I just run Daigusto Emerald. He's really good. He's also a Miracle Fusion for Great Tornado, and you do get him out a decent amount of time, which is why I like keeping Great Tornado in because you can Miracle Fusion with him sometimes. And also, what's amazing with him is you can detach. And you can Monster Reborn this thing, and you know it goes for a lot of damage, which is great because this is a normal monster Engrave. So this card is just really good in this deck. I'd probably never take it out. And then for the stable rank 4s that you know everybody runs, Shark, Arc, whatever, it's amazing. Dweller, which is amazing in this deck because you can make him 2200, which is great. The 2200 Dweller is hard to get over, and it's just amazing because it locks down so many decks. Then Direwolf to get you out of those dire situations, Black Ship for the hands, and Maestro because I don't know what else to put in, to be honest. I was thinking Rhapsody and Berserk, but you don't get 2xCs out at the same time a lot. I know Rhapsody is really good, but that's just the one thing. You don't get a lot 2xCs out at the same time a lot. You get a Fusion and an XYZ out a lot, but not 2 XYZs. So, yeah, guys, that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile. I really like this deck. It's really fun to use. And, like, it's decently competitive because I did use it. You know, I tested with it a lot. I beat a couple meta decks with it. I tested with my friends a lot, and it's really good. So, anyway, guys, hope you enjoy. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all later.